Alright everyone, today I wanted to share with you guys some easy tips to save gems in Raid Shadow Legends, and I will say Plarium definitely uses their fair share of sneaky little tricks to get you to use gems that you don't have to. So doesn't matter whether you are free to play or whether you spend money. Of course, I am not free to play, far from it, but I really don't like being efficient, and I don't like using a resource like gems if I don't really have to. So these tips are going to benefit pretty much everyone. And let's get started with number one on the list here, and that is going to be, if you can pick between silver or gems for upgrades, pick the silver option. Now, this is primarily going to be for champion storage and vault storage, and this is something that is going to be more of a consideration as of lately because they keep adding more champion storage to the game, which is a good thing, but unfortunately this champion storage has not been free. You have to unlock it with either silver and gems, and I will say that Plarium uses one of those sneaky little tricks, and as you unlock more and more storage, they make it more tempting for you to go with unlocking with the gem option rather than the silver option, because the amounts to unlock with silver go up a lot, but the amounts to unlock with gems don't go up quite as high. So it's definitely tempting. However, if your number one goal is to save gems, you're still going to want to go with the silver option. Alright, now moving on to number two on the list here, and that is, don't spend gems paying to access time-limited content early. This is very, very important for a feature of the game that they didn't actually have when it first came out. This is slightly newer, and that is the option to unlock your Ascension keeps early. Now, these are on a rotation, of course. You've got your Spirit, Magic, and Force keep, which are going to unlock twice per week, and then you've got your Void Keep here, which is going to unlock once per week. Now you can see here the costs to unlock. Of course, the Void Keep costs even more because it only opens up once per week. Now, the key here is to not only have the patience, but also to plan ahead, especially when things like time-limited fusions come out. It can be very easy to not consider the amount of Ascension potions you need for all of your fusion champions, get towards the end of the fusion when the timer is running out, and then realize that you're not going to make it when a certain keep unlocks, and you have to now either completely skip out on the fusion, all of your effort went to waste, or you have to pay the gems in order to unlock the fusion keep to get your potions. So the key here is not just being patient, but also making sure that you plan ahead for time-limited events. Alright, next up on the list here. Alright, so let's talk about the actual gem investments in the game, because there are a few of them. Some of them are very good, and some of them are not quite as good. So you've got your gem mine and you've got your sparring pit, but there's a couple of different levels here. So the gem mine is always going to be a great investment if you guys plan on actually getting into the game and getting invested. If you are still new and you want to wait a few days to see, that's totally fine. But once you kind of feel like you're going to be playing Raid for a decent amount of time, this here pays off in 100 days, and then after that, all the gems that you get from it are just going to be pure profit. Now, the sparring pit is a little bit more complicated. It's not going to be quite as good of an investment as the gem mine either way, so if you have to pick or choose, if you haven't done the gem mine, make sure that you do that first. But once you do decide to unlock the sparring pit, you have your 3 levels here. Now, the first level is going to be decent. It's going to be good, but not as good as the gem mine, of course. But then the second and the third level, they are not quite as efficient. Now, if you're just somebody who has to have everything unlocked like I do, it was just kind of one of those things that bugged me, you know, that's a different story. But if you're looking to save gems, if you've already unlocked the first upgrade for all of your slots, you don't have to necessarily unlock the other ones, at least not until you get a lot more invested in the game. Alright, next up on the list here. Okay, so let's talk about Mastery Scrolls here. Now, this was a really hot topic when it actually came out. Really quickly here, I want to just let you guys know, you do have the option in order to spend gems in order to unlock Mastery Scrolls. You can just go over here, and if you don't have scrolls, doesn't matter how many of them you have. If you have 0, if you have a couple of them, you can unlock all of them for 800 gems. If you crunch the numbers, I have a whole video in much more detail on this though. If you actually decide to just go with the normal option and farm Minotaur, if you're farming on level 15, of course, it is a little bit cheaper in terms of efficiency to just farm them out manually. You're looking at saving about 150 gems or so. And if that's your number one goal, which is kind of what this video is about, then you still want to end up going with the manual option. Now, the other thing to note here is if you can, do this in a way where you're not just working on the masteries of one champion, but you're doing multiple champions. You're also getting things like silver and a little bit of experience as well, so that's going to add even more efficiency. Now, the convenience feature of unlocking the masteries with gems is absolutely great. If that's what you want to go for, that is totally fine. But because this video is about saving gems, it's important to know that still going with the manual option is going to be the more efficient choice. Alright, next up on the list here. Okay, so this is a very simple one. Refreshing the market in the arena is just not worth it. Plain and simple, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just not worth it. So for the market here, unlocking the actual market slots, if you haven't done this, by the way, this definitely is worth it, because that is a permanent feature. You never have to do it again, and you're going to always have access to those additional market slots. What I'm talking about here is this 5 gems to refresh. And I hate to say it, this could really have a lot of potential, but the market in Raid Shadow Legends needs a big update. They need to revamp it, add some other stuff, because as of right now, it just isn't worth it. You will occasionally find a good piece of gear, but for me, just as an example, I have been playing the game for a while, so maybe I'm not the best example, but maybe every couple of weeks I'll find 1 or 2 pieces of gear that might be considering worth buying. Besides that, the gems, there's just many, many better sources to use them. Now, in terms of the arena, same thing here. Now, the arena refreshes are every 15 minutes and not every hour. They still cost 5 gems. Now, I know there's going to be some people who are really late into the game, who are, you know, really, they've got certain strategies where they do have to think about refreshing the market, but this video, it's not for you. If this video is really for saving gems, and if your #1 goal is to save gems, stay away from the arena refresh and the market refresh at all costs. Alright, next up on the list here. Okay, so if you do decide to spend your gems on Ancient Shards, which, by the way, is not a bad way to spend your gems, energy refills, Ancient Shards, totally okay. But if you do decide to buy Ancient Shards with gems, you still want to go with the most efficient option. You're going to get the most value for your gems, and that is the Big Shard Pack. So if we go to the actual shop here, and we go to the gem shop, we've got the Small Shard Pack, which has 3 Ancient Shards for 270 gems. So if you do the quick math here, that is 90 gems per Ancient Shard. Or if you take a look at the Big Shard Pack, which costs 900 gems, you get 11 Ancient Shards. So you get that bonus of 1 additional Ancient Shard, essentially for free. So whereas for the Small Shard Pack, you're paying exactly 90 gems per Ancient Shard, for the Big Shard Pack, it's actually closer to 82, 83, something like that. It's in that general ballpark. It is cheaper, though. It is more efficient. You're getting more value, so you definitely want to save up and buy these and not the Small Shard Packs. I know it's tempting, but again, if your #1 goal is to save gems, which is what this video is about, the Big Shard Pack is going to be the way to go. Alright, next up on the list here. A lot of things for sale for gems are bait. Stay away from them. Now, this is something I could definitely get into much more detail on, but just as a quick example here, while we are actually in the shop, you know, there's a lot of stuff here for sale. Of course, energy refills are still good. Experience boosts are, you know, if you're free to play, if you don't really have other options to get experience boosts, those are a choice. But then you have something like this potion pack right here for 350 gems. Like, this is just absolute pure bait. Never buy this. It's a horrible deal. It's just not good. And you really want to be careful, especially when you spend either real money or gems in Raid Shadow Legends. If it's something that you've never bought before, do a little bit of research to see if it's a bait offer, if it's something that's just completely not worth it, like this potion pack right here, because this is sadly one of those, you know, things that Plarium does in order to get you to spend money and gems that you just don't have to. So stay away from the potion pack, stay away from other baity offers like that. Okay, next up on the list here. Maximize the use of extremely limited resources besides energy, and we'll get to that in a second, like your experience boost and your clan boss keys. Now, this is especially extremely important, the experience boost for free-to-play, because a big source of getting the experience boost is unfortunately going to be from offers that pop up for real money. But if you don't buy any of those offers, you're going to have to be a bit more conservative with your actual experience boost. So you're going to get a good amount of them from the actual, you know, like the campaign here. If you don't need to use them, if there's no events going on, keep them in the actual screen here and don't pick them up right away. Same in the actual faction wars. You know, if you have them right here, then just keep them. or if you have them in like your missions or your challenges, which isn't on my screen because I've already finished them all. Another really big thing is your mailbox. Keep stuff in your mailbox like experience boosts. Almost always they should have a 99-day timer like this one right here, and if I don't need to pick it up, then I'm not going to pick it up. I've got plenty of time, and I can really plan out exactly when to take advantage of using that experience boost. Now, clan boss keys are also very important. Extremely valuable resource. Probably one of the most valuable resources in the game for free-to-play players because you get such useful stuff for your account. And my suggestion to you guys is plan out the exact minute that you use your clan boss keys and kind of have that in the back of your head, because what you want to do is then keep in mind that every 6 hours after that, your clan keys are going to refresh. So if you know the exact minute that they refresh, you can plan it out exactly to be able to use all 4 of them per day without getting into the situation that I'm in right now where they're overlapped and I'm not regenerating, so I'm not putting them to use. You don't want to get yourself in that situation with clan boss keys. Alright, next up on the list right here. Now we're going to get into the other very valuable resource, and that is energy. So, tip here to save gems with energy is avoid buying more than 1 energy refill at a time unless you plan to AFK or auto for a while, or you don't have a choice. Now, let me explain about this a little bit. Now, like I said, spending gems on energy is definitely not a bad use of your gems. Ancient Shards is also fine. Energy is good, but I would not go crazy and just start refilling your energy and doing a bunch of energy refills all at once. I would stick with 1 at a time unless you are going to AFK or you're going to auto for a while or you don't have a choice. And by that, I mean kind of like the situation that I'm in right now. Like a lot of the times in Raid Shadow Legends, you're going to have energy sent to you, but they're not going to be in these little refill bottles. They're going to be actual amounts of energy, like 250 or 100, and in which case you don't really have a choice. You're going to get the amount of energy that the energy actually was. So like in my case, it was 1,000, and I'm going to be overcapped on energy. There's nothing I can really do. If you guys are still early leveling in the game, you're going to be overcapped on energy. There's nothing you can really do about it. I know it's one of those things where it doesn't bother some people. It really bothers other people. But when you are below the energy cap, whatever it is, at whatever point in the game, you're not regenerating energy for free. You'll just get this full message, and that is 1 energy every 3 minutes that you are missing out on. So just be aware of it. If you want to handle this a little bit differently than I do, that's totally fine, but it's still one of the most valuable resources in the game, so it's definitely important to know how it works. And the very last thing is going to be the most important tip in this video right here. I cannot stress this one enough. It's just a great overall tip for saving resources and gems, and that is practice good organization in Raid. The more organized you are, the easier it is to plan out your resource management, and the more you'll find yourself saving gems. You'll be using less gems overall, and this just goes for all resources in the game. So try to keep things organized, your champions, your gear if possible. Just kind of be aware of where everything is, and trust me when I say that getting into the habit in Raid Shadow Legends of having good organization is going to drastically improve your gameplay experiences in more ways than one. Saving gems is just one of the benefits to this. So that's kind of how I wanted to end things off with this video, and I'm really hoping that this helped out. So if you guys enjoyed and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate all the support, everyone. If you want to help out, leaving a like means a bunch, so thank you to all of you who do that. And if you're interested, more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out. Over 220 raid videos on the channel, so you can find pretty much anything that you are looking for. But if not, until next time, have a great day, everyone. Take care, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.